Greetings and salutations, everyone. My name is Samurai Schultz, and welcome to another Unreal Engine stream. And actually, um, I know in the description it says GAS, which stands for, if you don't know, means Gameplay Ability System. But I kind of got some inspiration on a whim here today, and I want to try to implement a shoulder switching mechanic. So currently, we have a bunch. Actually, I don't think I've ever shown this before. So let's go through this, and I'll just show you guys what I have so far. So I have some very crude animations for locomotion. So currently, jumping does that, um, and I implemented like all of the inputs by myself. I think for jumping, the only thing that I really used was like the built-in jump functionality, but like I made the input action by myself, the input callback function. I made uh, the input action asset in Unreal Engine. Uh, and yeah, and then yeah, so I made all of the locomotion, some very crude animations. Um, I made some pickups that affect these attributes. So I made an entire attribute set. Let's see, I think these affect mana. So it brings up a little widget, but the icon doesn't move, but the text does. Um, which I don't care about a ton right now. I can change it later if I wanted to. And these reduce health. Right now they just reduce. Um, I could set them to increase, but I have my mana and my health already at maximum, so it doesn't really matter a whole ton. And then I have an attribute menu, which I'll show in just a second after I get a good old swig. And then I have the helmet on the character, but there's no actual functionality. I just glued it to the player's head. And oh yeah, so tab, you can bring up these different attributes. So you have your player class attributes, which kind of define like the how there's like the trinity of player like roles. There's like healer, and then there's offensive and defensive. It's kind of like that. This is basically defining four player classes that you can kind of be in a continuum amongst. So instead of being like, I want to go with. Oh, wait, yeah, there's tooltips. I didn't even realize there were tooltips. There's tooltips. That's cool. Vigor is related to health, particularly your max health, how quickly you heal, how soon you can start healing after taking damage. Wisdom is basically same thing except with mana. Power has to do with your attack power, just like your physical combat power. Actually, no, this is your magical combat power. This is your physical combat power. And then there's these buttons which are going to be able to increase it depending on how many points that you have to spend on these. Right now, the default is just 15. And there's this little box down here. Right now, it's a little bit awkward because you have this like really close to the bottom of the page. Um, Unreal Engine widgets are a little bit weird to figure out with margins and all that. Um, I mean, I have trouble in Google Docs as it is, so that doesn't really help. But yeah, we got that going. There's a bug where you can clearly see my mouse is still there. So in order to actually look around, I have to click. Whoops, forgot that was a thing. I have to click and drag. Okay, wow, that was really loud. I have to click and drag to see. Oops, I have my alarm's still on. Hold on, let me turn those off. Oh dear. And let's turn my phone off. There we go. Okay. I'm locked in. Anything else? Yeah, it's pretty basic right now. Um, I'm on section 10 of Stephen Ulibarri's course, which integrates blueprints and C++ to make a gameplay ability system. And the first 10 sections are basically just laying the foundations for the actual meat. Um, so it's making an attribute set, making an ability set, see, making widgets for gameplay effects, uh, making gameplay attribute tags, just all sorts of stuff. And then the other bit is that I have been working on recently. When I was working on this last, is an actual gameplay ability, which means you can. It's functionality that's granted to the player, and it can be taken away. It can have a cooldown. It can have a tag. It can have tags assigned to it so that the gameplay ability can be blocked. Like if you have another gameplay ability active, or if it's on cooldown, or if there's a status effect that you have so that this gameplay ability can still be had but can't be activated or only for so long. There's like all sorts of functionality. Right now I just have a cast fireball. So yeah, pretty simple. It spawns in. Um, I'll actually show you. So this is the oh crap. This one's kind of annoying, but there's this um there's this montage that plays when you activate the ability. And based on that montage, it activates this sound. And then we also have this one. It's an event montage, which actually spawns the firebolt. So the actual spawning of the firebolt is based in the animation itself, which means if something were to happen so that you cancel this animation before it actually hits that notify, then you won't actually release the firebolt. So that's kind of nice. But yeah, so I guess I've shown pretty much everything. Um, and currently you have like this pretty popular like third person perspective. And actually, I wanna change that a little bit. I want to get that a little bit closer. So target offset. Let's set that to 100. Let's see how that looks. Ladies and gentlemen, that is terrible looking. Let's try 80. I forget what the difference is between socket offset and target offset, but target offset just does not do it. So, anyway. Uh, hold up. What if we did 50 and 50? What about a 1-to-1 proportion? I don't know. I bet the golden ratio is going to be like 2/3. So, well, actually, no, that doesn't work because that doesn't make any sense. Wait. Okay, yeah, it's not gonna. be numerically proportionate, because if you zero this, this is the zero of it. So we'll have to change that somehow. Wait, if we did 250, do you see how that's a 1-to-1 ratio, right? You have 1 to 1 because it's the difference from difference from the origin. You know what I mean. You guys can figure it out. Okay, so that's obviously pretty bad. Um, let's undo that. Let's bring this back 150. So maybe it's let's see. Maybe it's 2 to 1, x to y, because this is x and that's y. Okay, that's not bad. That would be like if you're ADSing, I would think. Let's try multiplying the difference by 1.5. So this would be 100. That would be 75. I'm clearly very, at least maybe it's not clear to you, but I'm very inspired from our creators and like that third person shooter vibe. Although that's not the only source of my inspiration, because in my one of my dream game ideas does have the ability to switch between first person and third person, and the basically the efficiency and effectiveness at which you do that is tied to your intelligence attribute. So not the only inspiration, but I was like, you know what? I might as well implement some functionality with that. So I'm actually going to bring up the player controller, and we're going to set up a whole doohickey here. So Hellbit input component, bind action, and then this is going to be switch shoulder action. I think is that right? Oh, I did not make an action. I did not make an input action for switch shoulder, so we'll have to do that. New property, edit anywhere, category input. Now we're actually going to put this. We're going to put this under camera. And same thing with this. We're going to put this under camera. And this one's going to be under movement. This is going to be under movement. Why is there an error there? Oh, because of this, right. We have to actually put something there. So we're going to have an object pointer of that's just a T object pointer. This is going to be view input action, look up action. No, I don't want that. I don't want that. Switch shoulder action. So that way, instead of constantly being over the right shoulder, it's going to be over the left shoulder as well. I don't think I specified that, but that is what we're going for. I'm just noticing my camera is crooked. Why is that? Okay, anyways. And this is going to be the trigger event. Started. So whenever a key is pressed, not held, but pressed, we need a context object, and then we're We're gonna do that. Oh, whoops. Wait. Did we do all of that right? Yep, I think so. Okay. So now, let's see, just to summarize what we've done so far. And I think I might have done this before stream, actually. But what the freak is it? Open attribute menu, close attribute menu. Hold up. Let's just navigate down here. We're gonna middle mouse button, click to go. Ah, there it is. So we have the function set up, and then up here in where we're setting up our input component, our input component, we're binding that input action called switch shoulder action, which is right here, and we're giving it an e-trigger event. So I think you saw there's different options. Whoopsie. Different options. There's canceled, completed, none, ongoing, started, and triggered. So if it's held, if it's canceled, I don't even know how you would implement canceling functionality, but we're just doing started. So as soon as the key is pressed down, triggered would mean for every frame that the key is held down, this action is going to be triggered. But we don't want that, so it's just going to be started. And then we have what would this be? Let's see. What are our parameters here? I guess it's just a context object. And then let's see. Our last bit is this is the actual function. So whenever this action is triggered, it's just going to be like, oh, okay, what does this function say? Let's execute it. Let's shift modifier. Switch shoulder. So the trick with this is like, okay, what exactly do we want to do? Right? And switch shoulder, it's gonna be it's gonna get a value. What value is that gonna be, right? We can actually set it up right now. So instead of input, instead of actions, we're gonna make an additional input action. We're gonna call this I underscore switch shoulder. I know there's a lot of other junk back there, but don't pay attention to that. Doesn't matter. Okay. So I think actually I think this is gonna be a bool. Yeah, so we're gonna leave this as a boolean, so either true or false. And well, actually no, because there's going to be two possible ways, right? So there's either going to be left shoulder or right shoulder. And to switch between those, we need to change the value. Where is it? We'll need to change the values of the socket offset, right? Ooh, we can change height too. Not that that's particularly important. Anyway, basically we're just going to negate these, right? So if it's over right shoulder, it's going to be positive 75. And then as soon as we switch that, it's just going to negate. Well, actually, it's not going to negate this. That's going to be the same. This is just going to be negated, though. So we're going to negate the y. But we have to get that somehow. We have to essentially access this spring arm component. So how do we access that? And my thinking is, well, we got to figure out where that spring arm component lives, right? And it lives on this blueprint, right? As you can see, it's below it in the hierarchy. Well, this blueprint class is based on the player character class, the Hellbent player character. And it's literally right there. So how do we communicate between those two classes? Well, I'm going to be a bit of a nerd, and well, actually, there's 3 different ways that I know that they could communicate. The first of which is pretty straightforward, is direct class communication. And that might actually be the one that we go with. It's in here somewhere. Where my interface is at. So we have direct class communication. The second option is we make an interface, which is essentially a middleman class. So we implement functionality in one class, and then that interface, we make a function in an interface that takes data from one class and delivers it to another. And that class that's being delivered to has to implement that interface, as well as the one sending information. So it's literally just a middleman. And then the other one is delegates, but we're probably not going to do that. You know what? Yeah, we're gonna cast, and I feel comfortable casting because, first of all, this is functionality that we're not going to need it for enemies, right? We're not going to need it for we're not going to need it for anything else. So it doesn't really matter if we make a hard reference. And hard reference is yes, this functionality is specifically for the Hellbent player character and not just a generic character, right? Oh, it could be for an enemy character or something like that, right? It's not going to do that. And also the player is always going to be loaded in, so there's not going to be a problem with retrieving the player character data. So if my thinking is right, then we'll be okay. Hellbent, whoops, a Hellbent player character, and this is just going to be player character. I have not casted in so long. It's actually kind of crazy. Let's see. Casting syntax UE5 C++. Gotta build this muscle memory back. Okay. Let's elongate this. All right. Actually, we can. Right. Okay, hold up. A character Hellbent player character would be the big thing here. Equals player controller. Actually, we're gonna wait. If we get character, why wouldn't that work? Why can't we resolve that? What if we just get player character? No, that wouldn't work. Get owner. What does that return? Yeah, it returns an actor. You know what? Wait, hold up. Get player character. No, wait. What does this return? It seems like it should return a character, but it doesn't. Okay. Okay. Well, anyways, we're just gonna get the owner. And that returns an actor, so we'll actually have to change this to actor. And that's going to be the avatar actor, I believe. I think that's the technical name for it. Oh wait, no, this is going to be owning actor because it's get owner. Right. Of course, we all know this. And then we're going to cast that owning actor to, and we're going to see if it's the player character. Let's get this back up again. So a Hellbent player character. Hellbent player character is going to be equal to that. And you know, this is stupid because I bet we already have a reference in here. I'm sure it's in here somewhere. Yeah, it's literally right there. And it's shorter and simpler. This one line is shorter than my longest line in here. Shorter than the entire thing. So actually this right here. Actually, you know what? Maybe it's good to cast in here instead of just having a cast begin play. Because every time we switch the shoulder, we need to make sure that the camera is valid. Yeah. Okay. So let's see if a Hellbent player character is equal to, whoops, my pinky isn't working. I'm gonna cast a Hellbent player character to get pawn. So if that's all good, then we're actually gonna do the meat of it. So let's get player character, and let's get the, what is the component called? Spring arm. How do we access the spring arm? Spring. Oh, you know what? We don't even need... We don't even need to access the spring arm directly. We can just act... Hold up. I'm cooking. Hold on. I'm gonna let that sit for a little bit. Be right back. Gotta use the restroom. We're back. Let's see here. Boop. There we go. Oh, I gotta get my hair right again. 1 second. It's a vital part of the process. Right, so we might not need to access the spring arm directly. Because we could just make... we could just make a U property. Whoops, if I know how to type. This is going around category camera. And we're gonna put this under spring arm. And this is gonna be an F vector 3D. And this is gonna be socket offset. Well, do we... hold up. It's not supported by Blueprint. Wait, what if I just make it an effect? Ah, then it's fine. Then it's amazing. Okay, what if we have 3, 3, and 3? Okay, that's fine. Think about this. Also, I will mention I only got about 2.5 hours of sleep last night. So, well, we might only be able to go till 12, maybe a little bit after, maybe a little bit before. We'll see. Um, switch shoulder. Also, I did go to bed kind of late, but it wasn't too bad. I went to bed at, like a little bit before 2, but then I woke up at like 4:30 and I just could not get back to sleep. I laid in bed for like half an hour, so still figuring that one out. Switch, okay. Wait, okay, hold on. How to access the spring arm component from my player controller class. Right, okay. Find component by class. Interesting, okay. You know what? Screw it. Let's do it. Let's do this side by side. So we have the player character. Uh-huh. Yep. And we're just okay. I see. So we're just making a local variable. Use spring arm component called spring arm. We're just gonna okay, so I was kind of on the right track. So instead of just going spring arm, we actually have to find the component. And then find component by class. Use spring arm components. Okay, next line. If that spring arm is valid, then we're going to implement some functionality based on that. We are going to set the socket offset equal to socket offset. What would be the syntax for this if I just want to make it negative? If I just want to negate whatever it was, would I do that? I mean, it's not, it doesn't really matter that much though. I mean, I could just do it manually. I always worry about little things like hard coding. Like, I'm not sure if that's going to be a huge problem, but anyways, yeah, 100, negative 75, and 0. Actually, oh, you guys let me know what you think. Um, but I have a hard time determining within my soul which one I find cleaner. Does it not take float values? Huh. Oh, wait. Wait. Do they need parentheses? Oh, hold up. Let me look at my past changes. Just hold up. Yeah, let's not mess around with the curly, with the squiggly brackets. So it's 100, that if, negative 75, and 0 that if. How to set socket offset. Right. Okay. That's what I'm looking for right there. Oh, no, I think it's just... Wait. Wait, hold on. Hold. No, never mind. I was wrong. How to directly set the socket offset of my spring arm components UE5 C++. This feels so wrong. I hate doing it like this. Why can't I just make it one line? Set, yes, that's what I'm looking for. I would like to do that, please. Set. There is no set socket offset method. Okay. This. Okay. Okay, that's not terrible. That's okay. It doesn't look too bad. 75.f and 0.f. Whoops, that's not what I meant to type at all. It's a go. Okay. Wait. Hold on. I think I. Yeah, because the problem is if I trigger this again, it's just going to set it to. It's not going to change it back to right shoulder. It's just going to go left shoulder, left shoulder, left shoulder, right? Um, so, but if we make an F vector called socket offset, and we set this to wait. Zero dot F. Does that work? Okay. Maybe this would be easier if I made it a bool. But a bool's not really what I'm going for. I don't know. I don't know if that's a big deal. Hello, concurrent viewer number 1. Welcome to the stream. This might be short-lived. I don't know how long you've been here, but I did say I might be ending early because I didn't get a ton of sleep last night. But anyways, we're just trying to make some functionality so that when the player presses a button, I'll show you my intention here. You see how the camera is kind of like over the right shoulder? I want to make a button so that it smoothly switches over to the left shoulder. Right now, it's just going to be a instant like cut switch. There's not going to be a smooth transition, but the goal is to make it a smooth transition. That's the goal. Okay. So we're gonna have this be socket offset dot y, and we're just gonna negate that. Will that work? Yes, maybe. Okay. This can be a const, right? Actually, Yeah, we can move this to the if statement. I find that to be more agreeable by far. Yes, yes. Waiting for it. Okay. Now we actually don't use the bool at all, do we? Hmm. And wait, hold on. No, this isn't right. Ah, frick, this isn't gonna work. Because every time we're triggering it, we're setting the socket offset back to this. And then yeah, it's not, doesn't matter. Um, oh dear. Some water here. Well, anyways, while I slog through this, how are we doing this morning? How are we doing? Uh, where's my ponytail? I hope you're enjoying the stream so far. I mean, getting a haircut and still using a ponytail is just kind of different. It's a different thing. F vector socket offsets. Oh yeah. Let me think about this. Oh my gosh, I actually just cannot think. My brain is so fried. It's crazy. I don't want to just ask Copilot though, because that's stupid. I want to figure it out. I don't want to be too dependent on AI for anything. Um, player character. Wait, is he gonna say const? Yeah. Um, yeah, it's gonna say that can be a const. Don't ask me what const means precisely. Too I am too fried. Effect shock offset. Okay. Wait, hold on. What if we made Oh wait, we can get the socket offset from the player character. Right. Okay. So, hold up. Okay, so all right, so oh, hold on. Hold on. right here. Ooh. Hold on. Actually. Why did I decide to put that there? Anyway. We can set the socket offset of the spring arm to our U property. But just before we do that, we want to actually set socket offset equal to something. So socket offset, and we can just initialize that bad boy equal to 100, and then 75, and then 0.f. Oops. Okay. And then over here, we can... We don't even need this. Wait. I think we do need this, actually. Socket offset is like how it's positioned. It's this. This is the socket offset right here. When we change, this is the X translation. That's the Y translation. Oh, no, this is the X translation. This is the Y translation. So pretty much we want to keep the same distance when we switch shoulders. We don't want to, we don't want to change it. Not that we want to set it to 100 when we switch it. Because maybe we're aiming down sight and we want it to zoom in a little bit. We would want to keep whatever that value is, right? Whether it's zoomed in, we want to keep that zoomed out, whatever. But this we want to change. So we want to change it from positive 75 to negative 75. But also we don't really want to change it exactly like that either. We just want to negate it so that it's mirroring on the other side. Because maybe we're aiming down sight and this value is set to something more like 30. We just want to negate it. So that way it's negative 30 on the opposite side. So right about there. Whatever it might be. Anyways. Here we're just initializing it. Because this should be the default, right? However, if we're switching shoulder, we want the current socket offset to be equal to we would need to figure out how to get the socket offset every frame, I think. Get socket offset. I think I just made the most... Yeah. I minded nothing. So guess what? We are going to do something so fun. It's going to blow your freaking mind. Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna close out of this, close out of that. I'm even gonna close, actually, hold on. Now I can safely save. I don't want you guys seeing my desktop. That would be a breach of privacy. Okay. I want to show you guys a cool looking thing I just found. Hold on. How the heck do I... Okay. This game is it's a game and play to... Hold up. Why can't I capture? Okay, you guys can hear. That's awesome. This is a game and play test called Boars in Rome. And again, the audio is so loud. So annoying. And I played through the tutorial in the first level. And it's pretty nice. I gotta say, I think it's got some potential. In my very biased opinion, because I haven't played a lot of parkour games. But basically, you run around, you vault over stuff, and slide again. You can wall run, and you can fall and die. I think it's quite lovely. So yeah, I'm gonna slide through here. We can just go through the tutorial together. Because I have brain cells. I have no brain cells left at all. It's still pretty loud. Mostly just the music, actually. Okay. Yeah, so if I jump all the way down here, I think I'll die. But you can crouch at the last section. At the last second to break your fall. How the heck did I get over here? Sorry, what? You can crouch through, I guess. Okay. I don't know how my skinny ass got through those. What? It doesn't even... That's like a border... That's gotta be like a borderline exploit, if not an actual exploit. Face the wall and jump at it to wall climb. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So you can wall climb. You can do... There's like this... If you press Q, it makes you turn around. Wait, hold up. Wait, hold... Oh, you have to be... Right. Yeah, like that. I know it's kind of difficult to see what's going on. But I'm basically just running against the wall, holding jump, Q, jump, Q, jump. Here we go. All while pressing W. Oh. I will pretend that I did. Okay, wall running is pretty fun. There's like a meta course. So basically, if you start all the way at the beginning, and I tried doing it this morning, you swing from the bars like all the way through, but there's no other way. Like I can't, if I try to get up to it now, like it will not work. There's no other way I can get up to it. But anyways, it's kind of fun. I can chain my wall runs. Oh, that's close. Bar swinging is probably my favorite mechanic. But yeah, you can grab, oh, whoops. And based on where you look when you press space to release, you can go either super high or super low. So that's what I went super high that time. And not as high that time because I didn't look straight up. And you can hold space to jump even further. But yeah, and then if you just press shift, you can get on top of it. But there's no like easy way to get back on the bar, unfortunately. Because if you get, I got back on the bar for like just a second. You might have seen that there. But then it makes me vault right back on it automatically. Oh, I guess I did it that time. It did not work in all of the other hundreds of times I tried. Oh yeah, we already did that. To break our fall, you can press shift. Wait, did I read that right? Shift or crouch? Any speed? Okay. Within reason, yeah. Like there's some crazy drops in here. Multiple ways. Oh, this is like the actual fun part. This part's kind of crazy. I don't know how the heck I would... Bro, I have no idea how. Wait a second, actually. Hold on. I feel like I'm just waddling around. If you look at the player shadow closely, you'll notice that I have no head. There's no head attached. How the heck would I get up there? There's gotta be like some secret passage or something. Okay, there's that bar there. But then after that, it doesn't look like there's anything else. Oh, okay, I just vaulted over all of that, I guess. Dang, I forgot that there's all these bars here. But no, it's like extremely difficult to, if I can get through here. It's extremely difficult to get up there because once you start at the beginning and you start swinging on the bars, if you mess up, you're just done. There's no stopping points. It's like you can see that there's like one stopping point there and one there, but for like the first 30 seconds of it, there's no stops. There's no room for mistakes. Okay, I can't get through there. I'd like to try to get up there. Okay, I got up there. Oh wait, so I can. Okay, wait, hold up. I'm gonna try it. Okay, and I can just hang as well. So that's something I can do. Oh, yeah, man. I want to try to get up there. Let's see if I can do it. Yeah, movement games like this just fill me with so much joy. I just like love the and I'm dead. That's cool. I just love the the feeling of freedom that comes with games like this. Okay, I got up here now. So now my goal is to get over to there. Oh! I got caught on something. I'm not exactly sure what I got caught on. Drat. Okay. Oh, man. Just inches from life and prosperity in all its forms. Okay. What? Hold up. Yeah, this part's a bit tricky because you have to jump kind of... Oh, yeah. I totally biffed that. That was on me. Okay. And this is the one. What'd I tell you? Okay. What the heck am I doing? It started me all the way back here. The checkpoint system just seems a little... It feels a little random sometimes, I gotta say. Okay, anyways, I'm done with that. I'm just gonna show you guys the rest of the... Actually, wait, do I need to get up there? No, I think I just need to get through into that tunnel, so I actually do have to try again. I think. I don't think that there's another way. Oh, actually... This is a way through to the next part. Whoops. Yeah, so then we have this area down here. Whoa, I just got so much air there. Okay, then we got this spot. This level is called the Catacombs, by the way. Ooh. I could get up there. I don't think I've explored down here before. We didn't fix the bugs. Oh, I want to try it anyways. Just so I can complain about it and be like, excuse me, you didn't fix this, developers. You did not fix this. Okay. How the heck do I get back up? There we go. Got up. Is this the right way? How the heck do I don't even know how I'd get up there. Oh, this is a fun stage. I like this. Yep. So they have these little checkpoints here. But I can't go up any further. So now I actually have to and then get a little checkpoint here. I think every time you stop in the same place for more than a second, it saves it as a checkpoint. I think one thing that they definitely should add is... Oh, ouch. Is making... I think they should add the bars being glowy. That would make it a lot easier. Okay. I tried to grab it onto the bar. no avail. Okay. What's the next step? Right, yep. Do the double wall run. I've played through this entire level, so it's a bit easier. There's some skill in there though. There's some skill, not purely. We have this. What the heck is the point of this? Yeah, there's like this. I didn't realize that these swing bars went through the entire level. That's crazy. And I guess you can access them at some points. Wait, is this supposed to be a... Yo, I think that's supposed to be a bar right there, chat. Oh my god. Oh wow. Well, that's a bit of a shortcut. I was gonna do all of that stuff, but this is very, very pretty. And then if you, yeah, that happens. I can't believe I even got that bar. That's crazy. I'm gonna see if I can. Oh dear. But it's okay, because we're back. Where the heck do I go now? Anticlimactic. Oh. Okay. We did it. There we go. This part's okay. It's not like the most fun. I wish that they actually made use of this bit up here. But it's still kind of fun. Kind of fun to go around in a circle. Oh dear. Oh, got it. Oh yeah, and for some reason I thought I was gonna be able to like wall run it all the way over there. Not possible. Not so. Double wall run. And oh, I guess I should have taken advantage of that, huh? And then it does that. Oh, and then this just loops. This just loops back to this area. But anyways, let's go to the next level. Because I have not tried the next level yet. Now this is actually like scenery. This is really cool. Different music too. Okay. The sound. Oh, that's pleasant. That's just lovely. Okay. I'm definitely not getting style points. Well, this feels rather dystopian. Okay. It feels like that is a very bad enemy thing. I wonder if I should, whoops. Oh, that's funny. Whoa! Takes me freaking nowhere, but that's kind of fun. How do I get up there, though? That is the question. So what the heck are these crates? Oh, okay. What is their purpose? Jump back over. That's not gonna do anything for me. Ooh. Took some damage there. How do I get on the box? I really want to go inside. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh, okay, wait. Get up there. Okay. The secret's here, I just have to... Oh, okay. So close. So close. Not really at all, though. Dang. Oh, I'm there. I made it somehow. Yeah, there's definitely not as much structure here as there was in the catacombs. Also, I didn't really need that bar. I could have gotten... I got up fine without it. I'm not really sure what the purpose of that was. What an interesting situation we have here. What am I supposed to... I made it. Oh dear, nope, that's not the way I want to go. What about this way? Yes, maybe? This could be the one. Okay. Wait. The idea is to get up on top of that bar and then... Why I can't, why can't I grab it? Okay. Alright, I didn't even need to grab it. Who freaking cares? Not me. Nope. Okay, now we're in the spot. Oh, there's just nothing there. Oh, jeepers. Okay. I'm just gonna kill myself. In game. Oh. Okay, that was interesting. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not really... It's not really a game as it is. It's a prototype, really. Right? I mean, just look at what I'm doing. But also, it's just... There's not really much gameplay. It's like, oh, look, here's all of the different things that you can do. But there's not really an objective. There's not really a narrative or an experience, it seems, that they're trying to create. There's definitely an aesthetic. I concur with that wholeheartedly. You know what I'm saying? It's just not really at a game point yet. And this is coming from a gamer's perspective. Not as a game developer. Because I mean, I haven't really made a game of this scale in Unreal Engine. And I mean, if I made something like this, I would be ecstatic. Like, this is great, but it's not a great game. It's a great prototype. I wonder if I could jump down and swing from this bar. So yeah, that's very cool. Very cool all in all. Yeah. I'm very confused about the name. Wars in Rome. Not really sure about that. Sound design is pretty good. Love the music. But yeah. Anyways, I think I'm gonna end stream there, I think. I'm pretty tired, but also I don't really think there's much else I can do on Unreal Engine, just because I'm kind of stuck on that problem. But yeah, I think that's about it. So thank you so much for watching and being here for the stream or watching this VOD. And yeah, what's the schedule? What's the schedule? Tomorrow it's going to be same time, so 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Hopefully it should be more consistent. Hopefully I sleep better, but we'll see. I'll probably be working on Unreal Engine, either on my current project that's co-op, or it'll be the gas project again. So again, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Farewell.